First question on my list, where is the stock amp? And to that question, I say, I do not know. I never had to mess with it because I just went straight to an amplifier after I installed my rear speakers. Another question on here, where do I run my power wire and how? So let's go to the front of the car, because when you're installing an amplifier, you need to power it from the battery. So I have this blue wire here running into this box right here, and then from that box I have it running down into here. This was cut out previously. I just pulled it out. What you want to do is take a hammer and a screwdriver and make a dent in your firewall, and then you want to use that dent to screw a hole roughly the size of your wire through there. Okay? This flashlight sucks. Alright, then you want to run that power wire to your trunk. You want to keep the power wire separate from the RCA wires and the speaker wires because it will cause noise. So let's see if you can see that. That's where the power wire is coming through the firewall. Okay. That was also previously cut, that rectangle right there. I just pulled it out. So that wire runs through down underneath the floor. And then it runs all along here. You can just pull these up real easy. So that runs to the back, to the trunk. So you have the power wire coming out of there, going to the amplifier. This right here is the ground, and that can go to anything you want, as long as it's metal. Okay, so that's the power wire. How do you do the door speakers? Okay, so getting the door off is really pretty simple. There's a screw here, here, and there's two under here, right there, right there, and then there are two on the sides right here. Then there's one here, and there's one behind here. You unscrew all those, lift up, and pull out. There's going to be some wires that are attaching that you'll have to unplug, and that's how you get the door off. There's going to be holes to where the speaker is, and that's where you're going to run your wire. So let's pretend we have the door off and there's a giant hole right here. You're going to want to feed that wire through that hole over to here. This right here is the bridge between the door and the car. There's a white box right here that's going to be in your way, and this probably took me the longest time as far as wiring. Just shimmying that wire up into here and then getting it to go through here, because there isn't hardly any room with that white box being in the way. You're really going to have to work at it. Then that'll run down under the dash. And since we don't want our speaker wire running with our power wire, we're going to run it on the other side of the car. So it runs down under the dash, up through, past the head unit. Because remember, we're running the speaker wire to the amplifier in the back. And then we run the RCA wires to the head unit. Okay, while we're up here, I noticed I have a question about the head unit. So this is pre-loosened, so I can do it with one hand, but you essentially just drop your coin tray down and stick a pair of whatever in there and pull it free. It should come out pretty easily. Then there's going to be some wires attached, your clock, your heating and air conditioning, and then you're going to have your head unit right there. You can unscrew these screws and pull it out. When you buy it, you should get an instruction manual on how to wire it up. It's really fairly simple, just, you know, color to color. Some of them even have just snap-ons. So anyway, actually, I don't know if you can see that. That's the big mess of wires that I have. Okay, so after we have that, let's talk about running the RCA cables. The RCA cables are like the ins and outs, and they are these right here, and they will run and they will plug into your amplifier. Okay, and then you run those wires down through the floor just like on the other side. And they'll come out over here. Those are sagging right now. Tuck those up whenever. And those go in and they plug into the back of your head unit. One thing you want to make sure of is to not hot switch them. So that's when you have power running to your head unit and you're unplugging and plugging things back in. Some head units can handle it, others will actually burn out. So you want to be very careful of that. And then lastly, let's talk about the wiring. So along with the RCAs being on this side, we also have the wiring. See the red and the black wire? That's from the left speaker. And then you can't see it, but there's another red and black wire running from the right speaker underneath this. And then that goes back to the back of the car. Okay, and they all come out right there. Then those run back up along here, if you can see that, over into the amp, into their designated spots. Just like that, left, right, left, right. This was a fairly short run because we have the rear speaker here. Goes to here and plugs in right there. Some of these other ones have come all the way from the front of the car. Here's your ground, power wire, and your remote wire. That's also another important thing. Don't forget the remote wire. It doesn't mean a wire for like a remote control like that you control your TV with. This is kind of important. You need to run that with whatever you feel like. I think I ran it with all my other wires. Yeah, I did. I ran the remote wire with the other speaker wires on the right side. So the only thing on the left side is my power. Okay? If you guys have any other questions, please feel free to ask. I'm not really like a specialist, so I'll get back to you when I can. Thanks for watching.